Welcome back. SLB announced earnings today, and since this is a stock that I have covered on the channel recently and a stock that I currently own, I decided that it would be a good idea to update you all. So in this video, we're going to do four things. We're going to review some of the highlights from the earnings report, look at the company's guidance for fiscal year 2026, look at a short version of my bull thesis for the stock, and take a look at the technicals by taking another look at the stock chart. If you missed my last video on SLB, I highly recommend you watch it, and I'm going to link it in the description below. Here's the press release from SLB. SLB announces fourth quarter and full year 2025 results, increases dividend, and commits to return more than $4 billion to shareholders in 2026. I've got this nifty infographic that's going to look at some of the highlights from the release. Revenue was $9.75 billion for the quarter. That was up 9% sequentially and 5% year over year. That beat estimates. Adjusted EPS was 78 cents a share. That's 13% sequential increase and also beat estimates. Revenue guidance for fiscal year 2026 is $36.9 billion to $37.7 billion. This would represent an increase from the $35.71 billion that they had for the 2025 fiscal year. Also, the international and offshore investment that I noted in my last video on SLB is expected to be there. International and offshore rebound is expected. Also, the CEO was optimistic on the call. We'll be taking a look at some more of his guidance here in a little bit. The digital business that I also noted in my last video also is strong. So quarter four digital revenue was up 25% sequentially. It was up 15% year over year. I do believe that did have some effect from the ChampionX acquisition that I did also note in that last video. In terms of shareholder returns and cash flow, they did increase their dividend 3.5% to 29.5 cents per share, and they said they are committed to over $4 billion being returned to shareholders in 2026. So very positive things here for shareholders. For some guidance going forward, these are from the prepared remarks from the CEO in the earnings call. He said, "Let me now share our outlook for the year. The headwinds we faced in 2025 in certain markets may become tailwinds for our business this year. Positive. We anticipate this will translate into a higher fourth quarter revenue exit rate in 2026 compared to the fourth quarter of 2025. For the full year, assuming oil prices remain range bound in the high $50 to low $60 range, we expect 2026 revenue to be between $36.9 billion to $37.7 billion. In North America, we will benefit from the addition of 7 months of activity from ChampionX. Talked about ChampionX in the last video, seeing the benefits of that acquisition here. Stronger offshore activity tied to customer plans and accelerated growth in data centers, while upstream land activity will continue to decline year on year. Seeing some notes here about how they're diversifying the business and doing some things that will hopefully make it less cyclical, which I discussed in that prior video. In international markets, revenue is expected to trend upward year over year, resulting in a slight year-over-year increase. Growth will come from Latin America and the Middle East and Asia, while Europe and Africa is anticipated to decline slightly. Let me now describe how these dynamics will unfold across the divisions. In digital, revenue is expected to grow at the same pace as 2025. Driven by digital operations, production systems will increase, mostly benefiting from a full year of ChampionX revenue. Reservoir performance will be flattish, while well construction will decline slightly. Revenue in all other category will be flat year on year, considering the loss of revenue from the divested Palliser asset, and will be offset by growth in data center solutions. This revenue outlook translates into adjusted EBITDA between $8.6 billion to $9.1 billion, with margins remaining in line with full year 2025 levels. So overall here, very positive. Digital revenue expected to continue to grow. A lot of things in line here with the bull case that I laid out in the last video, which you can check out if you have not done that yet. Now let's just review the bull case overall here a little bit. Resilient investment despite oil prices, despite the fact that oil prices have been lower, investment continues to be strong. We're seeing investment in offshore. We're seeing the Venezuela investment probably going to be happening here, and SLB is set to benefit from that. They do work with Chevron, which should help them benefit from the work that will be done in Venezuela. They also had those key contracts that I laid out in the last video, which you can see noted here. There's also this other growth driver of AI and data centers requiring a lot of energy, and SLB is in a good spot to benefit from that. And then the last piece here that I have noted is that diversification in the business to lead it away from being as cyclical as it has been in the past. So focus on the digital business, focus on more efficiency in existing wells and selling technology to customers so that they can get the most out of existing wells that they already have. And then the ChampionX acquisition is another example of this, in that business diversifying the company more as well. So let's take a look at the chart now and some of the technicals around the stock. This is a weekly chart. You can see we're now above the 200-week moving average. Interestingly, today the stock was doing quite well and then kind of gave back some of the gains on the day. The market kind of gave back some of its gains today too, so it's really not too surprising. Interestingly, you can see there is a fib level here, this 236 level, which it did sort of reject off of. This is the daily chart now, and you see it close just below that level. So it'll be interesting to see how it reacts to this going into next week. The stock has run up quite a bit. I'm up, I think, over 40% on it now. So it'd be interesting to see, does it get a kind of a pullback here before advancing higher? I do think that there's more runway for this. I think there's a lot of tailwinds for the company right now. And I think that this is a leader. This company's a leader in what they do. So I do think there's a lot of room for the stock to run further going forward as we see the momentum continue and those tailwinds really continue to push the stock higher. One other thing that I will mention is if there is any increase in oil prices, that's only going to help the company even more. Even with oil prices being somewhat suppressed, we're still seeing these tailwinds for this company, and I think that is really powerful for them as a business. So lots to like here, guys. There's lots of capital return to shareholders, momentum on the chart, lots of tailwinds for the company. Again, I know I mentioned it several times, but if you haven't watched the other video and you're interested in this stock, make sure you go watch my other video on SLB. If you found this video helpful or informative at all, please click the like button, subscribe, and click the bell to get notifications as I'll continue to update you on stocks I'm covering on the channel. I'll also update you on stocks I choose to buy and other moves that I make. If you want more regular updates on what I'm doing more in real time, you can follow me on X at StockSaleFlyer. I really appreciate all your support. As always, none of this was financial advice. Please always do your own research, and as always, take care. Bye.